1 second. Let me get everything positioned in here.
Get your business insured in 10 minutes or less with Next Insurance. It's super easy. Tell us what you do.
Alright, let's get this thing
Select your
skipped.
coverage.
Is that like show? Lion frame. Why is it lagged? Hello, how are you doing, mate? Not too bad. Kill the audio. Let a couple more people jump in here and then we'll get started. So how many people are going to step on the land? Area 51, Canada. Alright. Rolling now. So, I got my live stream topic right here, which is, how old were you in your first adult film? Oh, sorry. This was my questions for when I finally get Katie Morgan to go out on a date with me. It's crazy because, you know, I stalked her on the dark web. I got her cell phone number, her home phone number, her physical address, her mailing address, her business address, all of her related friends' numbers. You'd think it'd be simple to get a date with her, and I just cannot get Katie Morgan to even respond back to my messages. And if, Katie, if you're watching this, I love you. I've loved you since the first time I seen you in a film when I was like 18 years old. But anyway, so live stream topic is Area 51 is a socialist ploy. And I believe the whole let's stream Area 51 thing is going on to get people re-interested in it. Because I mean, like, literally, I can stream videos on my cell phone. Like, I really care if there's little green men and a secret military base somewhere. Now, if there were little green women that were really busty and they were going to show up in my videos, that would be a slightly different story. And it's important for them to get people, like, interested in something else, because otherwise you start paying attention to things like, for example, when Bernie Sanders gets asked the question, how is your socialist government plan, or socialist medical plan, going to be funded? And he's like, socialist medical plan funding. Flip to page 54. Alright. The socialist medical plan will be funded because if we approve socialism, we'll cure cancer. And then we'll free all the little green aliens from Area 51 and we'll stop global warming. And it's like, really, that was your answer to the funding of your Medicare plan? I just don't really see how that's going. And no one cares about Area 51 anymore. When I was like, I don't know, maybe 10, then people did. Especially after the movie Independence Day, that kind of like brought this whole hype into it. But yeah, just no one cares anymore. It's like, who cares? And so that's why I think the whole thing is going on. But anyways, that was the topic. This is more of just a hangout. Basically, this is my second annual fundraiser for my daughter's birthday party, because that's coming up soon. And so any super chats or any money that this video makes is going to her birthday. So we got for comments here. That'd be great. You'll hear us. Love the live stream. Thanks. What up, man? That's, what? LOL. How it goes, bud. It's a Fortnite event. Sorry, us Patreon members. Giveaway. I'm getting blue phone. It's Justin, it's all the time. What's up, babe? You're actually able to watch us at the house? Yeah, that's another big problem we're having. Like, I wanted to set up a studio at our house just for a live stream. Charter wants $5,000 to run a cable out to my house. So I can pick from Charter, which would cost me $5,000. I can pick from, what was the other one? Some Dish, something or another. I can't remember the name. But anyway, so I was talking to that guy on the phone, and he's like, yeah, you know, we offer 25 megabytes. I'm like, man, dude, I need like 100 plus megabytes a second. Like, for real, to upload video successfully, even at 100 megabytes a second, it takes me like 6 hours to upload a 5 to 8 minute video. Now, at 25 megabytes, it would be like 48 hours to upload a video. So I'm arguing with him, and I'm like, no, 25 megabytes is unacceptable. There's no way I'm going to pick your service. And he starts yelling at me. And then he informs me that there's a 50 gigabyte cap a month. I'm like, 50 gigabytes? Are you kidding? My videos range between 5 and 10 gigs. That would mean I could upload between 1 and 10 videos a month. That's not counting any data the rest of my family uses. So we're struggling with internet right now. I was supposed to call the phone company today, but I totally spaced it out. I'm hoping, because they offer 120 gig internet on certain select areas if they have a fiber optic cable already run out there, so we'll see what happens. So I don't know how quickly I'm going to actually be at the studio. I might wind up just putting it together and filming some videos there and then doing all the work here at the shop. That's why I'm actually streaming at the shop, because I wanted to stream at the house already, but the internet is a serious problem. Thanks for the birthday funds, man. Like, for real. Also, thank you for the birthday fund. She's definitely going to appreciate it. What I'm trying to get for her is this Power Wheels, which I totally can't afford. But hopefully I can raise some money. I mean, I got my Patreon money coming in soon, and then any money I would raise off the live stream, totally going to the Power Wheels. So what do you guys think of the Storm Area 51 thing? Do you think it would actually be worth it? Because basically I lost interest in it. There was that whole lawsuit. Somebody had got injured there. And so they were suing to have information released, and then this was back when Bill Clinton was in office. He decided that because it's a secret base that doesn't exist, they can't have a lawsuit against them. So I'm like, well, if we had any chance of cracking open the gates of Area 51, that was it, and it's totally gone. Fiber optic will be faster, but does your area support it? I don't know if it, because, alright, so, I should have grabbed a pen. Like, basically, this is the town, this is the country, this is where my house is. Literally, Charter is 500 yards, not even, probably like 300 yards is where their service terminates from my house. So I don't know if the phone company ran cable out there, because there's only like one other house close by. So, like I said, I might just be doing some video shooting there and then do all the work at the shop. I don't know. Also, I want to apologize. I haven't been uploading very much. It's really been hectic. Trying to get everything moved into the house and unpacked, and there's just so much space for activities. I don't even know what to do with myself. Like, there's space everywhere, and I just don't know where to put things. It looks so empty. Storm Area 51 is, I think it's, yeah, I think it's a joke, too. It really is. The Area 51 thing, I think, pretty much ended in, like, the early 2000s. Area 51 had... Which is weird, too, because I just seen that movie, The Fourth Kind. Which I'm not sure how I feel about that, because yes, I could fake all that footage. I've been meaning for quite some time to fact check all of it and get some solid sources. Also, if my live stream stops because I have my phone flipped around so I can't see the screen, this way you guys don't see everything in reverse, let me know in the comments so then I can go and check it out and see what's wrong with it. Oh, thank you for the $5 super chat. Give your little girl a good birthday. Take it back if it's not an AR-15. She's into, man, a couple of different things. Been watching a lot of Cat in the Hat. Trolls was last year, because she just loves the movie Trolls. You should see her dance. It's just cute. I tell you what, Not this next video I'm going to upload, but the one after that, I'll put a little clip of her dancing. But this year, what was she into? Why am I having a brain fart? It was something actually kind of cool, too. Well, zombies, obviously, because she's been watching me play that game Last Day on Earth Survival. Awesome. Oh, Harry Potter, that's it, yeah. She's been into Harry Potter, so it might be like some sort of Harry Potter thing. Like, I was actually playing with the light, which I'll definitely put a little clip of that at the end of one of my videos, so she was convinced. She was turning on and off the lights, and this gets better. So then Mom was stealing her potato chips, and she was like, Mom, no more. And of course, Mom grabs another potato chip. She grabs the one, kind of, well, it's this little piece of dowel rod I made for her, and then I just kind of drew on it. And she grabs it, and she looks at it, kind of like twists it in her fingers, and I forget how the magic spell is pronounced or whatever, but she's like, I'm just going to make it up. Hazam! Actually tried shooting her with a spell because she was stealing her potato chips. Area 51, we are not alone. I don't know how I feel about aliens. I actually made a video on this. I mean, yes, I do believe there's unexplainable things. Do I think they're aliens? Not so much, because, man, like, how far radio waves and that travels and the speed they travel at, we should have heard something. There should have been some sort of radio wave coming through, because for them to be able to travel through space, they would have been around longer than us, which is totally plausible because our Earth is pretty young. But the radio waves, assuming they evolved in the same technology evolution that we went through, we would have been intercepting their radio waves. There's no getting around it. There would have been evidence. You would have seen like a stick on top of our moon with a little alien head. But that's why... Oh, $10 super chat. Thank you. Exactly. Get enough man in the house. If what you are something use else other than radio waves. What if they're using something else other than radio waves? Like direct beam communication? Yeah, that'd be possible. But still, like, even the pictures of, like, the flying saucers just seem wrong. Because I don't see any propulsion devices on them, obviously they're bending gravity. In which case you would see lensing around it. It would look like... I can't show an example. But like on the outside of the black hole, how you're actually seeing images behind it just because it's screwing with gravity, and it comes off to the side and it's kind of got a line around it. Hey, you call that lensing, and that's an effect of when gravity is getting screwed with. Holy comments. Radio waves travel at the speed of light. Yeah, and if their technology evolved at how ours did, which you would think would happen, they should have did radio waves first. Communications, satellite beams, and at the speed of light, like... Let's pretend they discovered us in 1947 when the Roswell crash happened. That was the first time they ran into us. Then the whole reason they crashed is because they were unfamiliar with our atmosphere. They flew in, all of a sudden, boom, oh my god, there's gravity everywhere. Smash! Their radio waves will... Alright, so let's say that's the first time they discovered us. They would have had to have intercepted our radio waves, which means they should be within 10 light years. We can see everything within 10 light years around us. We would be able to notice them. You would see light pollution on planets, etc., etc., etc. It would be detectable. Unless, of course, they just did some sort of interstellar space jump and accidentally come across our planet because they were running out of fuel, but still, like, to jump through wormholes and stuff. For a second, we'll just pretend that the whole Roswell thing happened. We recovered the ship, we recovered their bodies. By now, we should have been able to reverse engineer wormholes. We should have been able to pass through them. We would have been discovered. They would have found us. There would have been more people here. Maybe it's the whole Men in Black scenario where we have some sort of truth, but I just don't buy into that. There's just too many coincidences and too many small little cogs that would have to fit perfectly together. they would be a part of this society. I mean, as long as they approach the borders legally and get accepted into the country legally and don't become illegal aliens, I'm fine with them. But I just don't buy into it that it's just all smoke and mirrors and they're hidden. I just think it's a distraction. Let's see. Yankee Marshall is one of the ones I dislike. Klaus, straight army, agreed. So you think we are alone? Alone? Maybe, maybe not. Because it really goes on like two basic theories that I'd be willing to buy into. One, that because there's just so many planets and so many chances of life evolving, but really to believe in aliens, you have to believe in evolution. So we believe in evolution for a second. There's just so many planets in that life would have to be, how do you even word that? The possibility of life not being possible out there is just remote. And they would have a big jump start on us because the Earth is relatively young. If there are other places, with aliens and stuff, because there's just so many planets and that would have to happen, still, the amount of planets in that to where those odds for that theory to be true, man, this is a huge topic. The planets we can observe and stuff, there's enough of them to where that theory would have had to play out, and we would see evidence. There would be no doubt about it. And not to mention you'd have to believe in evolution, and I don't believe in evolution. The other theory is obviously, that where's the evidence? Because there's so many planets in such a small place, and there's so many different odds for something to happen and life to grow, that we would be able to notice it because there's enough close enough to where the odds would have had to play out. But alone, as everyone knows, I believe in God. And what if what we're seeing is, demons, angels, stuff like that? I mean, usually when people encounter weird stuff, it either seems to have a really positive effect, or like in the fourth kind, a really negative effect. Maybe it's demons and angels. How do you know about NNA-22 mini revolvers? The crazy thing. Hey, I dropped $10. Answer my question. I must have missed it. Let me back up on the comments here. Answer my question. Who is the gun tuber that you dislike the most? The gun tuber I dislike the most. That's a good question. I don't know. I've never actually thought about it. It would probably be... I really don't have any that I truly dislike. I'm jealous of some. I'm definitely jealous of Demolition Ranch. I wish I was that big because that would just be amazing. But that's a jealousy thing. It isn't necessarily a dislike. Because, I mean, the information I've gathered off of YouTube has helped me out so much long before I even made a channel that anybody that puts on videos, I truly appreciate them. Even small channels, even crappy videos, I can always just pull little tidbits of information off of a widespread videos to where I can accomplish my goals. Or I can typically find whatever information I'm looking for. And I'm ADHD as hell, so actually trying to read is a struggle for me. When I was able to go from magazines to YouTube, that was just amazing. That was life-changing. The rate and the ability I could absorb information is just such a more faster rate, and it actually fits how I learn. Everything's got to be fast-paced. Always I get bored, I'm like, oh, look, a squirrel, and walk away. It's just the way I am. Alright. We wouldn't. God created life, everything else. Maybe there is traveling. Ah, damn it, I missed that question. Don't do it. Don't do what? Sorry, I'm falling behind on the comments here. Where do we go? I believe in create as well. I'm not. You are not alone. LOL. If they did themselves American, just pulled them off. Sorry, the stream's kind of sucking. It was just a complicated topic, and I wanted to do a topic for sure, but I really couldn't come up with a good one. Don't say the YouTuber you dislike, but you didn't. Oh, thanks, babe. So, I think it's about time, though, that I do grab a firearm and pull it home, do some own testing, and then sell it for used. I have a couple of different options here. We got the Troy Industry one, because I actually reached out to Brown Owls, and I'm like, hey, because Military Arms Channel had done a comparison against the Brown Owls XM177E2 and the Troy Industries one, and without a doubt, he gave the win to Troy Industry. That video's old. The little things I was nitpicking on, I do believe they had fixed at Brown Owls, and he had missed on some very important points. It's got the wrong handguard. It's got the wrong barrel twist. Just little stuff like that. So, I asked for a T&E gun from Brown Owls so I could do another comparison against the Troy Industries one, but if I can't get that, that's an option I can take home. I can take home the 930 home security. That one I wouldn't mind doing some testing on, because that one I might wind up keeping in the end anyway, because I want to modify it. I want to put a heat shield across the top, put a sling on it, and see how cool it can be. What's another good one? The Remington RM380, that's a possibility, because I just love how the firearm's set up. It's set up amazing. I like how easy the slide is to rack, the ambi. The magazine drops in and out free, so that's an option. What's another good one? I was thinking about the Springfield XDE, and we do actually have a used one in. So if I did take that home and then brought it back, I wouldn't be losing any value anyway. I think that's about it for firearms I'm truly interested in testing out myself. If you think for one moment that we are the only ones in the universe, you are sorely mistaken. It's very possible. I mean, we won't know. But where our planet is, the planets around it, even if you're playing the odds game, like evolution should have happened on another planet, we'd be able to pick up radio waves, signs of life, stuff like that. We'd have evidence. Guns and Gear fan here. Yeah, that dude's pretty straight. Alaskan girls, 60 degrees north, 60 degrees south, planet life grows. There are both equal. Evolution is flat. Can you use some sort of high frequency or some data? I think we are the only thing. Sorry, I read really slow, especially when I know somebody's watching me, I panic. I think it could come down. It's simple what for the Iraq war and that. Let's go bang. Oh my god. Aliens and Firearms, how many of them? By John Browning. Good comment. If you claim to know... No, I don't claim to know if we're alone or not. But I do claim to know that I do not believe in aliens. I just don't. Am I going to rule them out as a total zero? Yeah, because I believe in God. Now, it is possible that God had, just more than one Earth, more than one civilization, and he intentionally put us so far apart from each other we're not supposed to come in contact, and somehow it actually happened. That's plausible. But as far as evolution, no. I'm not buying into evolution. Not at all. I like bacon, so do I. Thank you for the $2 super chat. How old are you? Oh, Jesus Christ. I am 36. It's okay. What about about a Mini 14. I actually really like Mini 14s. I love the wood stock. I love the way 20 or 30 round mag looks in them. I just haven't been able to pull the trigger on one yet. I haven't shot it. There was more than one of us that shot it this year, so I don't know for sure if I'm the one that killed it. But I put a couple of rounds in a deer even with a Mini 14. I just haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. It's not my... For me, a Mini 14 is more like an M1 Grand or like an AK-47. Yeah, they look great on the wall and they definitely have a place. But as far as like an effective combat rifle, I would reach for something different. Speaking of which, another topic I wanted to touch on is... So what do you guys think about the presidency coming up? If Trump is going up against another psychopath, like, oh, I can't remember that girl's name. Are you going to vote for him? Are you going to opt out of the election? I mean, what's your plan? Because without your guys' votes, he's not going to win. And he did kind of stomp all over us. He did a whole bunch of stuff he said he wasn't going to do. Yeah, he's better than the alternative, but do we just let things play out? Do we try to keep fighting, keep him into office? If there's a better candidate, like let's say there's another one that comes along that's pro-gun, are you going to vote for him over Trump? I mean, what are you guys going to do? Desk pop, hell yeah. 100% run, aliens are pushing too hard. Media. Trump 2020. Trump 2020. Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious, like, just glancing at the comments right here, it can get a lot worse than Trump. Yeah, I totally agree. It can get way worse than Trump. I'm pretty sure Trump's going to win the next one as long as enough of you people keep going on there. Because he's our only chance in office. And nobody else is going to vote for him. I think it's best for everyone buy the best they can and they can afford it as far as guns, shells before. Yeah, that's no joke. If you are seriously looking at buying a firearm, without a doubt, you should do it now. We're not in the Trump slump anymore because right after he got into office, the firearm prices dropped. Like, drastically. Like, what I could get them for dropped. It's pretty much normal now, but I do truly believe that regardless, when the election comes up, the firearms you want are going to get hard to get. Say, for example, he doesn't win. Say it's some socialist radical that wants to use the United States credit card to remove cows and cars and make us all eat spinach and give up eating meat. There's going to be zero firearms left to buy. The only ones you're going to be able to buy is the stupid expensive ones no one else likes. Let's see, where are we? 762 by 25. Trump, I guess. They all blow. Yeah, I mean, I was excited about when Trump was going into office. I'm not going to lie. I really hope that we can make some forward progress. Yeah, what's his name? Before Obama. Bush. He was kind of a douchebag. But he let that one assault rifle ban set, so that was pretty cool. I mean, of course, then he hit us with the Patriot Act. It seems like no matter who we get in, even if we win a little bit, we take so many steps back. And what is the average life on an empire? Like 250 years? We're about there. I mean, it really kind of scares the crap out of me. Are we going to fall? Are we going to lose the constitutional republic and become something socialist or some sort of... Man, I'm just having all types of brain farts tonight. Something socialist or some sort of dictator. I just don't know. If you want playbook, New World Order. Yeah, I actually got into a bunch of, like... I hate just throwing his name out there, but it's the easiest way to make people understand. I did watch a lot of Alex Jones videos for a long time, but it got to the point to where there's nothing I could do about this stuff. I mean, really, all I was doing was robbing my sleep at night. It eventually came to a point where I just unsubscribed from this channel and stopped watching his content because I hate getting all worked up. I mean, it would be different if, like, instead of just complaining about something and saying this is wrong, you actually had, like, okay, this is a plan, this is what we're going to go through, this is how we're going to accomplish the goals, this is how we're going to change it, like actual steps you could take, because always worrying is just like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but you're not accomplishing anything. It doesn't matter how much of the truth you know if it doesn't make a difference. Is 16 gauge useful? Honestly, if you're thinking about 16 gauge, you're better off just downloading 12 gauge. The ammunition's more available, it's everywhere. Yeah, we do have some 16 gauges, and 16 gauge does have a point. But how advanced gunpowder is in that, all those stupid gauges, I mean, there's really kind of no point. Because you can make just a 12 gauge round, which is basically the most common ammunition everywhere, and you can get so many different options. Do anything that 16 gauge or 20 gauge can do, and you can really power it up and start hitting the bottom end of 10 gauge. 20 gauge, you know, it sounds cool and all, and the shells are smaller, the ammunition weighs less, but let's pretend like it's a survival situation. You go with 20 gauge because you have the lighter ammunition. The odds of you finding ammunition that you can use are substantially less. You're better off just going with a 12 gauge. Can you do a video? Whoa, too fast. Video on SKS and RPK, please. I would love to do videos on SKS and RPK, but I just don't have them available. SKSs aren't a dime a dozen anymore, and RPK, I mean, the odds of somebody bringing one in on trade are just practically non-existent. I would have to go out and buy one. Alright, where are we? Alex Jones is a shill. He never exposes the truth, like Sandy Hook hoax. 16 gauge is great. Trump, it's Trump, or get ready to hide your weapons. I don't think we have a choice in firearms. I think no matter what, like any of the channels, any channels at all, even leftist channels, they all have one thing in common that they agree with. Guns are going away. Socialism is coming in. If different people were like, no, that's not going to happen, and then there was people that, yes, it was going to happen, you know, that'd be a little bit different. But overwhelmingly, anyone you talk to, any channel you watch, they're all like, yes, guns are gone, socialism is in. That many people, I just honestly don't feel could be wrong. Where people disagree is how it's going to happen and the time frame it's going to happen in. Congrats on the new house. Thank you. Do a video on hunting Bigfoot. I don't know, maybe I could do like some sort of sploof Bigfoot hunting video. Because even if Bigfoot was real, he definitely don't exist in this area because there's just no maneuverability for him. He could not survive. He would starve to death. Oh well, aliens minds would probably love to do a big video on Bigfoot. Right on, use a 4570 to hunt Bigfoot. I don't know, I think if I was to honestly go take on Bigfoot, I mean, he walks on his feet, he can use tools. I think I would want something a little bit lighter and a little bit faster. I would probably grab my Scar. I mean, it's got a powerful break to me. I don't know how thick his hide is, what kind of bone density he has. Maybe he has like some sort of super tough skin that a 223 can't penetrate. I mean, if I can't get it with a 308, which has some massive kinetic energy, the odds of me carrying something in the woods that I can get it with are pretty low. The country will split. Socialism is... That's very possible, too. I don't know about the whole entire country, but there might be some sort of quadrants, sections, like socialist America, and then you got United States. Well, it's not united. What do they even call it? Probably have a whole think tank coming out with a name, but it would be like the States of America, or the Free States of America, Socialist America, maybe Communism America. We might have a split where the country gets pied off into sections and then everybody gets a little piece. I mean, that's always a possibility, but honestly, like, I don't think they'll be satisfied with that. Like, even Wisconsin, it went blue in the last election. Yeah, we were blue for a while, and then we went red, like far red. But now we got a blue guy in there talking about changing concealed carry, and a bunch of other stupid socialist stuff. He even took down the state flag and flew the gay pride flag on the Capitol. I don't know how long, but it was like a month ago. I think that if they do actually get a foothold, like, okay, Socialist California of America, like that's an actual state or something, they will not be happy unless they're consuming or waging war on the rest of the states, because they couldn't survive on their own. If they were Socialist California of America, they weren't a part of the government program funding, transport, import, export. They would all starve to death. They would have to absorb the whole country to make it functional. And even then, like, let's pretend they did absorb the whole country. They had all the resources, all the taxpayers, all the money coming in. How long could a socialist country survive? You're looking at something short term. They would eventually have to go to communism. And how long can communism survive? 20 years maybe? And then it just consumes itself? CSA. We might do a painful divorce. We might have to do a peaceful divorce. Did I miss something? Is it better 308 or 270? I don't know. I like 308 because an AR-10 and a SCAR 17 and M1A. If those were all chambered in 270, I'd be like, I like 270. And 308's a military cartridge. So the odds of me being able to find surplus military ammo, that's why I'm on 308. Yeah, there's better cartridges out there. Like, for example, if you don't want the knockdown power but you want added range, you could always go 6.5. You're giving up kinetic energy, but you're drastically increasing the ability for that rifle to reach out and touch something. So that's why I'm 308 instead of 270. Actual kinetic energy, numbers, bullet drop, stuff like that, I don't know, because I never gave 270 the time of day. Because I'm like, 308 all the way. You have to face your state then. State. You have blah blah blah. Close the borders. I'm not saying we should close the borders, but I definitely do believe that anybody that comes into the country and does not go through the proper process of getting themselves vetted and coming in like how you're supposed to legally, what's the point? If they're too lazy to do that process, they're not going to do any work. They're not going to benefit us at all. Alright, just kick out... You just kicked out Florida? I'm not getting that one. Socialism has been tried to take countries in the 30s. A painful divorce means we all the states go their own way. It's very possible. The states will split from the urban centers. Yeah, because urban centers honestly cannot survive without all the little rural places. It's just not possible. If they went socialism, like, let's say a state that's majority urban, like New York, they went socialism, and the rest of the country didn't follow, they would starve to death. They would die off. They'd be at the heels of us just begging to come back into the Union. 338 Lapua. 338 Lapua is an awesome round. There's another one, I think it's a 308 Shy-Tech, which is super awesome. Unfortunately, both those cartridges are without a doubt outside of my budget. Yeah, a 300 Win Mag will not perform as well. Not even close. But a 300 Win Mag is kind of like a 69 Chevelle SS. It's a little bit older, you know, it's got its quirks, it's got some limitations, where a 338 Lapua is like a high-end Italian sports car. I can do a very similar job. Well, this is make-believe. I'm saying a Chevelle I built. I can do a very similar job as the Italian sports car. Not quite as good, but good enough. And that Chevelle is affordable to me. Italian sports car is not. There's just no way I could feed a 338 Lapua. Not possible. So that's why I'm not into 338 Lapua or 408 Chi-Tech or 50 cal. Yeah, eventually I'm hoping to get a Barrett 50 cal, but that's still a distant dream that I can't even see a light to the end of the tunnel for that one. Yeah, 338 does cost as much as a 50 cal. There was actually a while back in 2013 or 6ish, somewhere in between 2006 and 2013. 338 Lapua ammo I was seeing was double the cost of 50 cal. What happened to a 416 Barrett? 416 Barrett was Barrett's answer to California. They said 50 calibers are no longer allowed in California, so they made a 416. Almost as big, almost as awesome. Because Barrett is actually a really good company. For example, Barrett said, if your civilians in your state cannot own this firearm, I will not do repairs on any of you legal firearms or anything like that. You will be cut off. If you cut off the civilian market, I'm cutting off the law enforcement and government market. So the only way my firearms will be sold in your state, covered under a warranty and everything, is if your civilians are also allowed to have it. That's why when I do get a chance, I will buy a 50 cal. Because that kind of dedication to the Second Amendment community is basically unheard of. There's very few firearms manufacturers that will go out and put their neck on the line for the community. And Barrett's one of the companies that has. They may have done some dark stuff, because most companies have done some dark stuff at some point. But still, that was just awesome. Kind of like Magpul. I don't really like any of their gear, but I'll still buy anything I can fit into a system just because they moved out of I believe it was Colorado. I'm almost positive Colorado, when they started doing stupid gun laws. Because they're like, if our stuff isn't illegal in this state, you're not getting our tax money. Check the volume on your mic. I'm on a cell phone. The volume I got on my cell phone is all I got. If you guys can't hear me, say in the comments and I'll just talk louder. Because actually when I used to use a GoPro, it had a plastic case and I had to project my voice at it. Until I figured out a little bit about audio. What will you take for a pro? What will it take for a Pro 2A to stand up? Thank you for the information. Definitely going to get one. Amen. They sell green ones on... Fall comes around, cheaper than dirt. I can hear you perfectly fine. Sounds good. Sounds good. I can hear you okay. Just have to turn up the volume a little bit. It's a little quiet, mate. Yeah, sorry about the volume. Like I said, I'm on a cell phone. Is there any other topics you guys would like me to touch on? I mean, it's on live stream, so what I say can't be taken back. I can't edit it out. So if there's a topic you want me to touch on, now's the time to ask. What happened to the veteran? What happened to... What happens to the veterans conservatives? That's a good question. I mean, there's a lot of people that are just like, if there is a socialist takeover, they'll just poison gas all the jails and prisons, eliminate the undesirable people, and then just start weeding out the people that haven't managed to get themselves locked up one by one. Will it actually happen? I don't know. This is all stuff that's foreign to me, and it's too dark of a topic for me to think about at night, because then I'm not going to sleep. Sick ban guns, we don't think what happens. We said it's wrong. Creepy Doll 1 and 2. Yeah, they're still over there. JFK was assassinated, that means life. Where do babies come from? Where do babies come from? Well, when a guy and a girl has too much to drink, and they decide that they're gonna roll the dice at chance for maximum feeling, sometimes a guy's lucky, and a girl's lucky, because they want this child. Other times, not so much. And that's where babies come from. Good camping equipment, bug outs. I don't really know a lot about like what you should take and what you shouldn't take in a bug out bag. I honestly stare at a pile of gear and I'm like, man, I need all of that. So, I'm not the person to really ask about what should be in a bug out bag. I mean, I could do a bunch of research and put a video together, which I probably will because that's not a bad video topic. But it's going to take me a while. That's going to be a couple of months because I'm going to want to check a bunch of sources and watch hours of videos and come up with my own list of what should be in a bug out bag. Personally, like in the car, I usually have obviously a firearm, matches. I'd like to have food, but I'm fat and I eat it all. My girl's really horrible about drinking water bottles, so there's at least like 3 gallons of half-drinking water bottles on the floor. That's about it. I am totally unprepared when it comes to an actual like bug out situation. Finish on Glock Gen 5. What do you think? The very little bit of information I got on the Glock Gen 5, I guess this is actually on the Gen 4 as well, is no one likes it. Apparently, they took a process that was supposed to be super awesome, and they either... I didn't really research this, so I'm just going off of what I'm told. So this information can be totally incorrect, and it should not be taken as fact. But anyways, on the Gen 4, Gen 5, they had bought this other process, because... Again, I was told this information, and I didn't fact check it. But apparently, the process that they normally use, the Tennifer process or whatever, there was a reason they couldn't use it in the United States. I don't know if it was cost or if it was just plain illegal. So they bought this other process that was actually supposed to be pretty good, and somehow they had either dropped the ball on it, cheaped out on it, or totally messed it up. So, from what I understand, again, I'm told this information, so please don't take it as fact, is the finish is having problems with flaking, rusting, and it's just failing altogether. Guns, food. Then when she gets pregnant, she becomes... Then you know it's a boy. Haha. Right on, babe. Anyone ever noticed policies against guns surrounding themselves with people that have guns so they feel safe? Anyone ever notice? Yeah, politicians that make policies against guns, they always have bodyguards. Should we fund veterans or other on the East Coast and you pay for the one night for 18 years? It all depends if you benefit from the children. I wasn't the most behaved person when I was younger, and I hung out with a lot of shady people. Sometimes when a girl would unexpectedly get pregnant or a guy would unexpectedly get a girl pregnant, it would be a life changer. Like, the person they were headed towards, this totally black, professional criminal, possibly junkie, whatever, it'll just split and change right then and there, and they totally change their life. I mean, I could just rattle off more examples than I have fingers and toes, so that's higher than I can count. Some people, they have children and they treat them as a burden. And it actually more negatively affects their life. They're like, oh, I'm so stressed out because of my child, I'm going to drink, or I'm going to do illegal narcotics, or I need to steal this stuff because I'm so broke because of my children. So I've seen it go one way or the other. You put in shit, you get out shit. And I believe that they honestly were going to head towards the criminal life or the junkie life no matter what. The people that changed, they were always going to change. That was just when they decided it was time to. My opinions. I'm still paying for one night stand 19 years later. Oh boy. Ha ha ha, that makes plenty. At least you have the balls to raise a child. Yeah, I totally agree. I'm not even going to say those words because it'll probably get my channel banned. But yeah, I agree with Rob something or another, a couple of comments up. Amen, Ron. Abortion is murder for sure. You can do a video on 308. Can you do a video on the Remington 783 308? Possibly. I mean, most of our firearms that we pick that are brand new, we go by sales. Unless that firearm's on sale, we won't even buy it. Because when we first started getting in the gun industry, there was a couple of big fails we had. One, the Ruger... no, not LCP. God, why can't I think of the name? We'll just skip that one. The Beretta Pico. When we bought that, it first came out, there was a whole bunch of hype YouTube videos. Our start cost on that was almost $400. I can pick it up now for like $199, $175. Start cost. You know how hard it was to sell a firearm that we had to charge almost $400 for, and like 4 months later, the price was literally cut in half? So unless that firearm pops up on sale, we pretty much avoid it, unless it's a customer request, or we're buying a used firearm that's coming in. Those new, like, oh hey, this firearm just came out, there's a bunch of YouTube videos, I gotta have it. If I can get it, I'll buy it for them. Otherwise, I'll just tell them to transfer it through. It's just way too risky buying a firearm when they first come out. You never know which way they're going to go. I got a son, 35 years old. Fruit Loops that doesn't taste that bad. No, not the Ruger LCR, the... Nothing Fancy had done a video on it. Totally convinced me this was the bee's knees. I bought it. It pretty much first came out. It was the pro version of... I don't know, but we sat on that firearm for almost 2.5 years. Because as soon as I bought it, boo, the price dropped. And then the Trump slump hit, and it dropped even more. I sold it for less than I paid for it, and we were still charging almost more than $100 than anybody else could have just jumped on the internet and bought it for. Not LCPs, it's the 9mm. They only made it for safety with a magazine disconnect for a while, but then they came out with a pro version, and then they put a whole bunch of lawyers speak on the side of it, like, oh my god, be careful because this firearm will fire without a magazine in it. And it does not have an external safety. How much ammo should you keep in stock? Like in the store here? Or personally? Personally, as much as I think you're going to shoot in a lifetime. Now, if you're talking about like bugging out, you can only carry so much, and ammo is really, really heavy. That's why it's more beneficial to just pick something in the common caliber. 12 gauge, 223. 38 357, 9mm, because it'll be more beneficial to you to try to scavenge ammo if you have to bug out. If you throw on like 7 mags, your full battle rattle, food, and you're on foot, man, how many calories are you going to burn? How quickly? How quick are you just going to start ditching ammunition? 1,000 rounds... LC9. Yeah, the LC9S Pro. That was the one I bought. Right after Nothing Fancy, I dropped the video, and I got hosed on that deal. I sat on that firearm for so long. After you figure out inflation and how much I came under that, because I had to lower the price for less than I paid for it. It was the only way I was going to sell. So after lowering the price, inflation, etc., I lost big time when that firearm finally sold. More you have, the more issues. P38, 1,000 rounds per gun. Yeah, a lot of people have formulas like, hey, 1,000 rounds per firearm, whatever. I just, on my house, as much as I can possibly have. I mean, eventually, you don't want to like max out credit cards or anything like that. I have to reload. I'm broke. I really am. I'm not like broke like, oh my god, I'm gonna be homeless or anything like that, but like, my slush fund, what I can just go out and blow, is practically non-existent. So I have to reload ammunition. So on all my Christmas lists, I have gunpowder, very specific bullets. I'm always scrounging cases at the range, and that's what I do when I have some free time. Pounding out ammunition. Yeah, I buy some that, I guess you'd call it like my bug out pack, which I can't call it a bug out pack because it's just ammunition. That's all store-bought ammo. All military grade, all sealed in. That stuff I don't shoot, but maybe once a year as I replace it. But actual, like, going to the range and having fun, that's all reloaded. I can't afford to just buy and go to the range and shoot off rounds. Range bag, that would be an excellent word for it. Yeah, I will eventually do a video on the Beretta 92, because that's a very beautiful firearm. It's beautifully crafted. I like that firearm a lot. I like the history behind that firearm. I will eventually get one in and do a video on that. Speaking of which, what do you think should have won? The Beretta 92 or the SIG 226 way back when? See, I feel that the SIG 226 way back then was not the same SIG 226 you can get right now. Because they had a different slide that was actually welded and then folded steel. I don't think that they were as reliable back then. Of course, I wasn't alive back then, so I didn't get to see the testing. I think they made a good pick at that time with the Beretta 92. Yes, as the SIG 226 evolved, it became a better firearm, but at that time, the Beretta 92. What's your favorite reloading press? I don't even know what the name is. I think mine's some sort of Chinese knockoff. It kind of looks like an RCBS. Like, it's got the same coloration and shape, but there's no RCBS stamp on there. It was actually donated to me by a guy in Minnesota way back. Like 2012, something like that. As my slush fund started drying up, he's like, hey, why don't you reload? So then I wound up getting that, and I started pounding out ammo, and I've been doing it ever since. I went overseas with a Beretta 92. I love it. I have a bunch of trigger time on a Beretta 92, and I love it. It sucked with clearing malfunctions. How do you even explain it? With like a Glock or like an FN or something like that, you got your square cut in the slide. So when you clear a malfunction, you can pretty much bring the slide to the rear and then dump out the round. But with the Beretta 92, it would grab those stovepipes, and it was just horrible for clearing malfunctions. How did you hide the bank statements from your wife when you buy a gun? I just tell her car needs repairs. It's totally believable. Just like, hey, your car needs repairs again, so I just spent some cash. I took it out in cash, though. He can't hide nothing from me. That's pretty much true. How much are you... For those of us with bad memory, when you buy ammunition, write the month and year. That's actually not a bad plan. Especially ammunition you might want to depend your life on. Yeah, the powder in that and the charge may not go bad, especially if it's military ammo and sealed. But like the brass, if it starts getting nasty, it's not going to feed reliably. Not even out of an AK-47, not out of an AR-15, nothing. It needs to be clean. Yeah, you will get rounds in, but you'll start having random malfunctions. So, especially if you touch the ammunition, date that stuff. Best thing you can do is like vacuum seal it, date it, and never open up the box. Of course, so then if wrong ammo's in there. Because I actually had that happen once. I bought ammo from Fleet Farm for hunting one year, and I had bought a Winchester. It was the one with the Teflon bullet. It was 308. It had the chrome case. And I'm like, oh, this is so awesome. Man, I spent a lot on that. When I got home, somebody had swapped out the ammunition inside of it and just put in some full metal jacket, 147 grain 308 ammunition. And then they put the expensive hunting ammunition in that cheap box. I only paid like $18 for like almost $40 ammo. What's your opinion on flintlock? I shot a muzzle loader once. That was it. And it was a modern muzzle loader. I'd like to do it again because it was really cool seeing the big smoke cloud and everything. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get probably a lever action and a single action and 45 long Colt, and I'm going to load up black powder rounds. Actual like flintlock. I mean, it's cool. It's romantic. It's special. It's just not for me. Dang, she's a keeper. Yeah, I use the cash to the one behind your left elbow. What? Oh well, I made her buy a revolver. I missed something here. I had to back up. Sorry, hold on 1 second. How much for the board games? Oh no, am I still live? Yep. Alright. Alright, where was I? Actually, he always... How long you own that shit, get it at a... What about the 300 Blackout? 300 Blackout, that actually has a very specific job for silencing a weapon. I know I've covered this topic a lot, but there's 3 different noises. You got your mechanical noise, you got the powder expanding, or the hot gases expanding where you get your bang, and then you got the bullet breaking the sound barrier. With a silencer, it's possible to get rid of 2 of the noises if you shoot subsonic ammunition. That's where 300 Blackout shines. Now, you can also get supersonic ammunition for the 300 Blackout, but honestly, what is it? It's not supersonic enough. To really have a substantial difference with a supersonic ammunition, you want to be above 2,200 feet per second. So if I were to get a 300 Blackout, it would be for silencing, and I would not waste my time with supersonic ammunition. My thoughts. As long as I get the gun, I want it. What happened to the trench gun? Trench gun's still great. The last video I did, I had run it. I didn't have any malfunctions with it. I actually shot it after that. I was doing time because I bought a little shot clock. Figuring out different ways to bring it up that's the fastest, and it ran flawlessly. I love that gun. I don't ever plan on getting rid of that. Even if parts break, I'll just replace them with new parts and make them look old. That gun is freaking awesome. She won't let me buy a 1911. If you could have any gun ever, what would it be? If I could have any gun ever, what would it be? I don't know, it would come down to probably the Honey Badger, the real one, with select fire, with a built-in silencer. Or it would be a Barrett 50, or the M134. Old painless. That would probably be it. And obviously they'd be toys because I could just have whatever I wanted. Now if you were like, if you could only have one gun, and you could never have another one ever again, man, I don't know. That would have to be probably like my Bushmaster A2 or my Scar. 50 cal. My next gun, I want it to be a 45 long Colt. Yeah. If you're looking at single action... Now, are they actually called single action armies, or are they just called single actions? Because I know when I started doing videos, I used to call them single action armies, and everybody freaked out, and they're like, that's just a single action, there's nothing army about it. But anyway, if you're looking to buy one of those, my 2 favorite ones are Uberti and Cimarron. Because they actually got the hammer on the firing pin, they don't use a transfer bar, and the quality just seems better than the rest of them. They all come from Pieta, almost all of them. But it seems like there's different quality grades for what name you want stamped on it. And so far, it seems like Uberti and Cimarron are top dog. What's your opinion on home defense pistols? Swap out barrels, shoot multi-calibers, 40, 357 SIG, 9mm. Home defense pistols, if you live in a small apartment like I used to, yeah, all the way. Oh, I'm just going for a shotgun. I mean, why not? I got the room. I already set up my daughter's room, so unless I'm aiming at my closet and directly shooting through it, I'm not going to hit her. So I'm either going to grab like a shotty, Probably the pig stick, to be honest. Or the scar. I mean, there's no reason to go light on it. There's nothing I can possibly hit, so I might as well just open the gates of hell and take the intruder in. Did you find the switch on your furnace? Yes, I did find the switch on my furnace. Yes, just a little light switch there. I haven't tested it out to make sure for sure that's what it does, but it really does look like it. So many guns, so little paychecks. Right on, brother. I want SPO1. They are pretty sick. Yes, they are. Right on. Well, I've already been going at this for like an hour and something. I can only go as long as my phone battery lasts, and I'm sure it's about to die by now. Any final questions before I wrap this up? 45 ACP. It doesn't turn off. Sure. Benefits of 223 wild versus 223. The wild chambering is just a different free bore. I've seen specs on like 5.56 NATO, 223, and the only difference seems to be because there's a little bit of space with no rifling at the end of your chamber where the bullet can come in. Where the NATO chambering, that space is extra long because you got to fit in tracer ammunition. I can't remember the NATO designation for the tracer ammunition, but anyway, so when your primer strikes, your bullet moves forward, even before the powder goes. Now, typically, you want to get as close to the rifling as possible for maximum accuracy so you get jam. With your free bore in there, it allows your bullet to get a little bit of slop in there before it enters the rifling, so it might not be in there perfect every single time. Well, not so much perfect, but consistently. So with your wild, it's basically splitting the difference between your free bore and the NATO and your 223 chambering. So the idea is that's enough free space, so as long as you're not shooting tracer ammunition, you should be fine. And that's the same thing with 223, depending on the chamber cutting, because each one's cut slightly different. You're supposed to be able to shoot NATO ammunition, which, I mean, it should shoot out of your 223 chambering anyway, unless you're trying to shoot tracer ammo. But anyway, you're supposed to have enough free bore to be able to shoot NATO ammunition, but not too much free bore where you lose accuracy like you'll typically see in a NATO chambering. So that's supposed to be the wild. Oh, thanks for the $5 super chat. Yeah, Ozfest. It wasn't this particular Ozfest I went to. It was 2000. Which one was this? 06? It would have been 02 or 03. First time I had ever done a beer bong. I went with these other girls, and there was all these dudes on the camper, and they're like, "Hey, show us your boobs." I'm like, "They're not going to show you their boobs." And they're like, "We'll let you do a beer bong," and they had the beer bong all the way on top of the camper with a funnel. I'm like, "Well, I've never done a beer bong." They're like, "You'll love it. Get them to show us your boobs." I'm like, "All right, ladies, show them your boobs." So they flashed the guys. The beer bong had a little shut-off valve right there. And I seen the length of the hose, and I'm like, "Oh, I can take that. That's only like 2 beers." So I crack it open. I'm going. I'm like, "Wow, this is really flowing." I feel my stomach get tight, and it starts hurting, and it starts hurting, and finally I shut it off, and there's 3 other people up there dumping more beer in there. I have no idea how much beer I took. So I get into Ozfest, and then the alcohol starts setting in. I'm like 17 or 18 at this age. I got a wristband because I just went up to... Who did I even go up to? I don't remember. I'm like, "Hey, let me get your wristband. You can just get another one." So they give me the wristband. So I got my beer wristband. Starting to get dehydrated. I went to a little bubbler, and it tastes like mercury just coming out of it. The water was almost a brownish color. It tastes horrible. And they had this little water tent that would cool people off. So I went underneath that, cooled off a little bit. Then I went to the counter, and I'm like, just hammered drunk. I'm like, "I need 8 water bottles and a pretzel." And she's like, $35 or $34. I'm like, "Well, you know what? Just give me 2 water bottles." Drink the water bottles down. I get sick at Ozfest. I fell down the hill, and I passed out with my feet pointing up the hill, my back pointing down, and I had just a white beater on. The neckline, because I was passed out for like 3 or 4 hours, I got sunburned so bad, I grew a patch of chest hair. in the shape of my white beater. So that's my Oscillist experience. Banana sign, I love you, mommy, daddy. Love you too, bananas. Thanks for the vid. We love you. Alright guys, I'm going to check out. Thank you for being in my live stream. I really do appreciate it. I had a good time doing this one. Sorry the topics were kind of all over the place because I didn't really think it out ahead of time. Oh, thank you for the $10 super chat. Let me see what you said real quick. Hey, I'm dumping more money than everybody. What a bunch of jail. I'm Craig. Like the message, loud, crazy shout out. Shout out to which one is that? Kentucky, I think. Sorry if you're not from Kentucky, but shout out to Kentucky and Craig, I believe is how your name is spelled. Damn guy, thanks for the bid, brother. Yeah, it was over $30 for the water bottles and the pretzel, and they totally had a monopoly on it because you couldn't get water anywhere else. You might have been able to try out of the toilet bowl, but I wouldn't recommend it. But alright guys, have a nice night. Thank you for all the super chats. I really do appreciate it. Like I said, all this super chat money and the money this video makes off of commercials is going to my daughter's birthday. Really do appreciate it. Thank you. Alright, how do I end this bad boy again?